Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can create this woven pattern. You can get the file for $1 on Gumroad through the link in the description. So let's get started. As always, I'm going to use this HDRI, the link to that is in the description. First let's add a Suzanne and Ctrl+3 to subdivide and shade smooth. Now go to shading, let's go to rendered view and render properties. I'm going to use cycles. You can use this in Eevee, but you won't have the displacement. Let's go to film and make it transparent and click on new. Set the roughness to 0 and the metallic to 0.75. Add a gradient texture. Set it to spherical and shift selected. We also need a color ramp. Bring the white in like this, somewhere around here, and plug the color into the vector. Now add a Voronoi texture, set it to smooth F1 and plug the distance into the factor. We also need to set it to 4D and now add a wave texture. Plug the color into the W. Now let's add a value node and set it to 5. I'm going to do this because we need to duplicate all these nodes, and so we don't have to change it for the duplicated ones. Select all of these nodes, duplicate them, and now let's add a value node, duplicate it, set this one to 1.6 and the other one to 5. Now let's duplicate these nodes and add a value node, duplicate it. Let's set this one to 5 and plug it into the scale here and here. This is because we want the scale to be the same on both of them. Let's do the same for the distortion and let's set it to 1.6. And by the way, if you want these previews here, you can get the node preview add-on for the link in the description. Now let's set this wave texture to Y. Add a mix RGB. Put it here and connect this one on the bottom. Now select the principled BSDF and put it here. Shift select it and duplicate the color ramp. Bring the white into somewhere around here. Now let's add a mix RGB again and plug the color into the factor. Let's make this blue for example and this one red or orange for example. Plug the color into the normal and add a bump node. Put it here and connect this to the height. You don't have to do this next step if you use Eevee or if you just don't want the effect. So let's add a displacement node. Put it here and plug the displacement into the displacement and the color into the height. We can't see the affected because we need to type in displacement here. Go to the material properties and go down here to displacement, displacement and bump. As you can see, that's too strong. Let's set the mid-level to 0 and the scale to 0.01. I think I'm going to change the color to a darker blue, like this. Let's save and go back to layout mode. Position your view and let's add a camera. Shift A, camera. Ctrl-Alt-0 to go into camera view and G-Z to move on the local Z-axis. Go into rendered view and let's hit Shift A and add an empty. Go to snapping and select face. Press G and Ctrl to snap to the faces and put it around here. Now set this back to increment. Select the camera and enable depth of field. Select the empty here and let's try 0.5 for example or 0.2. I think maybe, yeah, I think 0.3 looks good. Now let's add an area light. move it up, go to top view and position it around here. Let's move it up a little more and rotate it like this by pressing R twice and scale it up. Let's set the power to 1000 and the color to something yellowish, for example. Go into front view and duplicate it, and let's rotate it like this and position it around here. Now under the render properties, go to color management and set the look to very high contrast. I'm going to use 128 samples with denoise enabled, and the denoise are set to optics. You can only use optics if you have an NVIDIA GPU, otherwise you can also use OpenImage denoise. Now go to compositing, enable use nodes, and also enable denoising data, and add a denoise node set to accurate. Now go to the output properties, and I'm going to use JPEG and set it to 100% here. Now let's save again and press F12. So that's it with the tutorial. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what I should do next, and I'll see you next time.